rejected. Now I keep getting rejected. Now what? So if you keep getting rejected and you're wondering why, that is what we are going to talk about today. This is from Jack Canfield's Success Principles, and this is number 18. Hi, my name is Jody Maley, and welcome to the Fearless Online Entrepreneurs.com group, where every day, Monday to Thursday, we like to share and mastermind and really help move you forward. So if you have any questions or you like the topic, make sure that you give us the questions. And we do check our blog quite often, which is fearlessonlineentrepreneurs.com. So if you make any comments, one of us will be sure to comment back. So before we get started here, I'm going to do a little bit different today. I'm going to ask my panel to introduce themselves. So my name is Jody Maley. I am a mom of 6 of a blended family, and I live here in Quesnel in beautiful BC, Canada. So do you want to go next, Sharon?
Okay, sorry, I had to find the mute button. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Sutherland. I am a mother, grandmother, wife, sister, and all of the above. And I am a big supporter of my husband, Lucky, who has a online business, and he's a mentor, a coach, and an entrepreneur. And I want to give an honor to our Lord and Savior who allowed us to be here on this beautiful morning to work together to help one another grow their business. Thank you, Miss Jody.
Thank you. All right, so Eugenia or Diane or Rachel, which one of you are going to come out next?
Hey there. I am Eugenia. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful daughters. I'm a single mom, and it's an honor to be here participating with this amazing group.
And where are you from?
I am from I was born and raised in Bolivia, South America, and I live in Reno, Nevada for the last 5 years.
Wow, awesome. All right. Diane or Rachel, or is one of you there so you can introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm here. I'm Diane Klein from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I'm a stay-home mom working my business online, helping other moms get out of debt with their family situation and also make a financial pathway for their kids. I mean, we're all kind of here to make it much easier for our kids, not for them to live the lifestyle that we've been living, but to switch our mindsets and to have a better way. Back to you.
Thank you. And I see Rachel there too. If you unmute your...
Okay, hello. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? Awesome.
Yes.
I see Diane shaking her head. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. It's so glad to see you all. It seems like it's been forever. This is Rachel Kelly, the mompreneur, the encourager, the coach, and the I don't know what to say. Why am I here? I'm being really silly right now. I just came out of this meeting with my son, so just kind of wanted to just chime in and say hello. Back to you, Jody.
Jody, you're muted.
Yeah. I'm like, la, 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 la. So anyways, thank you everyone for joining us on this panel. And as you can see, we are a lot of different women from a lot of different backgrounds, living in different countries, but we are here for one purpose, and that is to help you move forward in your life, in your business, in your relationships, and nurturing those relationships takes a little bit of work, for sure. So today we are talking about rejection. And, yesterday I had mentioned that I don't like going through a whole lot of no's to get the yes. And I know that a lot of businesses, they require you to do that. And I just feel that when you're in that thing of going, okay, I got another no, I got another no, I got another no, that can be really disheartening for a lot of people. So the principle number 18 that Jack Canfield mentions is that rejection is actually a myth, okay? Because to get over rejection, you have to realize that rejection's a myth and it doesn't really exist. So if you take that no right out of there and that you're not even thinking of the no, not now or whatever, and if you start putting out there that the yeses are going to come, you kind of make a very subtle shift in your thinking, but it brings you a lot more results. And sometimes when you get, if you tell yourself, I need to get 100 no's to get a yes, that's going to be your truth. However, if you are looking for 10 yeses today and you're not even thinking about the no's and that's put to the side, you're going to get 10 yeses. Yeses. Is that a word? I do not know. Anyways, which one of you ladies would like to just talk about that a little bit and give us your point of view?
Can you hear me, Jody?
I sure can.
I'll step out here for 2 minutes. For me, for rejection, I'm just going to be blunt and honest. It took me a while to get a tough skin because I'm a sensitive. I cry, I cry. I go to movies and I cry. That's just who I am. And you know what? I just had to learn to live with myself. And now I have kids, and my daughter's the same way. You say something to her or look at her sideways, sometimes on certain days she'll cry. But you know what? I'm trying to teach her, please don't go through life having the kind of life, the sensitiveness that I did. Just become tough now. Because once you get the rejections going and once you realize exactly what Jack Canfield is saying here is that it is a myth, your life is so much easier. Because you don't have to have that whoever's saying no to you. There's so many others out there that are going to say yes. So if you focus on the yeses and you focus on the maybes, that they'll come around and agree or whatever you're asking for, and you realize when you go for that audition for the dance that only this time you weren't picked, you're going to be chosen the next time, it definitely happens. Back to you, Jody.
Yeah, and you know what? I just want to make a comment on what you said because we've all kind of done a personality test, and I've actually been a coach in personality testing for quite a while. And I am a very high energy. I like to lead. I like to do a lot of stuff. But I'm also that sensitive person that Diane was just talking about too. And I don't remember where I heard this, but I just took it to heart. And because you mentioned that, Diane, that your girl is the same way, I was at a training that said, you know what? Feel the emotion. If you feel like crying, cry. Because what you're doing is you're letting yourself first say, it's okay to get emotional. And because after you cry, it brings along quicker the laughing. It brings along quicker that it wasn't as bad as what I thought. It brings along quicker where you move from that crying emotion into a different emotion more easily. And by not allowing those emotions, you're going to get stuck in one. And that's where people do get stuck in the fear, or they get stuck in depression, or they get stuck in anger, or they get stuck in hopelessness. And if you're doing that too long, that's not healthy. But from depression, anger is actually a higher level of energy. And then if you can move through your anger quickly, then you can move it into a little bit of, well, that wasn't so bad. And then from that, it's not so bad, but it's not quite great, but I do feel better. And then from that better, you get to, you go up into contentment. From contentment, you get back into joy and passion. And this is why I'm even doing this right now. And, feeling all these ranges of emotions is natural. And you want to get yourself back up into that higher passion and joy and motivation. And if you can do that more quickly and not think of being in those lower states for days or weeks at a time, just think of how many more yeses you'll get in that higher state. Think of how many that the rejection just kind of gets lost. You don't even think about it so much. But the quicker you can get up into the contentment and stuff, the quicker you will move forward. So has anybody on this panel, because I know you have, been in that experience before where you might have felt the rejection, but then you turned it into a better I don't know, a better moment?
Yes. Um, a lot of times when you think about rejection, you got to think about it's simply a concept that you hold in your head, something that you see as being rejection. You don't think about it like that. Just like the example said um in the book, if you ask Patty to dinner and she said no, you didn't have anything to eat with before you asked her, and you didn't have anything to eat after you asked her. So did the situation get worse or it stayed the same? It only get worse if you go inside and tell yourself something extra like, see, mother was wrong. No one would ever like me. I am the slug of the universe. It's in your head. It's what you're telling yourself. So take the rejection myth out of it, and make it a positive, saying, I know that if Patty doesn't say no, I know it's not the end of the world. That I can go and ask someone else to dinner. I mean, maybe she already had other plans, but you already putting the negative part in there. See, I told you she wasn't going to go out with me. So you got to stop thinking like that and put the positive in and take all that negativity out, and you will achieve more, like what Jody said.
Yeah. And Jack Canfield says it one step further where he goes, and you might want to write this down, SW, SW, SW. 1, 2.
You got one more.
There are 4 SW. So there's 4 SWs, and they stand for some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting. And in doing it, even in that little exercise, you're going to see that there's one that just says some won't, which is the no. But think of that. There were 4 other positive statements, 3 positives to the one some won't. And if you can do it in that spirit and you just kind of play a game with it, and that's actually one thing that I use a lot, is if I'm struggling with something, I try to think of, okay, what game can I make, or what can I do that will change my perception of what just happened. And for myself, because what happens is a lot of people, even if you do ask them and you get a no, some people kind of are grumpy about the no. No, and I just don't, blah, blah, blah. And then they go on to this long tangent. And I actually learned last week, and this was a fun game that I've been playing, and it works. And I think it was from Rhonda Bryan that I listened to her on my daily listening. And she said, you know what, think of all those negative reactions or those negative things around you that, because you obviously don't have control over how other people react or talk or speak or their negativity. And she says, think about that person on being on a different horse. And think of that horse just bucking and angry and snapping, and or maybe it's just a horse that, as they're riding it, and say someone says something in anger, and then they're riding the anger horse, or someone says something that kind of hurts your feelings, they're riding the, the feeling horse, or your kids act out in anger, or someone around you stubs their toe and swears. That would never be me, by the way. So if you can picture other people on these negative horses, and the more that they get upset and angry, the more that horse is kicking or bucking or snapping at you. And it's actually quite funny to think of it in that way. And I did this for the last couple of weeks, and it works. So instead of allowing their negativity or their reaction and anger or anything else, because kids can be kids, right? I told you to clean that. No, stomp, 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 stomp. Well, that kid's riding the stomping funny horse. And so if you can take any kind of situation and put it into something that's fun and a game to it and what you envision, you can't change them, but you can sure change how you react to it.
That's awesome that you share that, Jody, because wow, it's definitely a learning experience for us moms as they go into these different stages of life. And for me, I know, man, I had to work on it. I mean, I was just brought up differently. I was brought up to be respectful and understand that if my mom or dad said do this or do that, then that I had to do that. I wasn't allowed to just say no and not be obedient and stuff. So sometimes it's a hard transfer for us who grew up that way to bring it over into your life. But I found that the more anxious and stressed out I was about all the no's and all the negativeness that came from the suggestions that I had, when I felt anxiety, the whole atmosphere was just blah. It was just icky. So I decided, I just have to take a deep breath, be calm, and I don't remember which book it was that I was reading. Take a 10-second break. Count to 10, take a couple of deep breaths, start all over. And do that soon, like do it early on in the stage. Don't get all anxious and stressed out, because the more anxious you get and stressed out, the harder it is to get out of that mode. And now I just walk away. If it's too tight, if it's too stressed, I just walk away. And I do my 10s a couple of times, because you have to. Because you have to focus on the yeses that are going to come. And they do listen. No matter what your kids do, guys, or gals or moms, they do listen, because if you turn around, you'll hear them tell it to the siblings the same way you told it to them. So anyways, that's just from a personal aspect instead of the business part as well. Back to you, Jody.
Hey, I wanted to jump out for a minute. I think I may have muted you, Jody. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm on this phone and I'm like, okay, where do you go? So anyway, I'm sitting here with a little bit more comfortable, I guess, and wanted to apologize because I just kind of was totally off guard with the intro. But I wanted to just kind of touch for a minute that about rejection. I think when I read this, what Jack mentioned about people are saying that it's okay to get the rejection. I think most people have that concern, or most people don't like to be rejected. And so when he said that, I was like, wow, thank you, Jack, because for years I would say, like, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to fight this, I need 10 no's before I get my yes. And I would do that for a while, but I don't care how long I did it. I don't care. Yes, I would recruit. Yes, I would be able to bring people into my business, but even until today, it's still not comfortable. So yes, you will get those, keep in mind, yes, you'll get that after 10 no's, but, to look for no's, nope. Because, to me, it deals totally opposite of what we teach. We teach to think positive. We teach to, speak those things that are not as if they are. So if we're expecting no's, then how is that helping us? Really, we should be attracting yes. I want every person that I speak to be a yes. We know that they may not be, but the purpose and the goal should be to expect them to say yes. So just kind of wanted to just kind of bring that out, because that was really a powerful piece for me when I read that, because I had been conditioned to think from most people that are in the MLM industry, that's what they teach you. They teach you to write down a list, write down a list of all your friends in your family or everyone and you're looking for the 10 no's, and that 11th one is a yes. I even used to teach that all the time. So when I heard what Jack said, I was relieved. I was like, cool, I don't have to teach that one anymore. Back to you, Jody.
Absolutely. And, and his so what comment, and we say it to our kids, and yet why, if we're in a business or we're in a health conundrum, I don't know what that word is, but if we're in, or even poor relationships and stuff like that. But if you have that so what attitude, it doesn't then affect you as much, for sure. And we teach our kids that so what, you know? So why can't we use our own advice when it comes to a multi-level marketing or a, you know, any kind of business where you have sales and stuff like that? Because one thing that I remember with my kids is my daughter, who she's sensitive like you, Diane, and your daughter, and like you said, you could just look at her the wrong way and she'll start to cry and feel, but she feels everything. And so she was upset one time when she invited a bunch of kids to her birthday party, and some that she thought were going to say yes didn't. And and I thought, you know what? Or actually, it went before that. She was not invited to a birthday party, and so she decided not to invite that person to her birthday party and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? So what if they didn't invite you to their party? You know, maybe their mom or dad had a rule that they could only invite 2 or 3 kids or whatever, and that shouldn't hold you back from inviting them to your party. You know, so you have to have that real so what attitude. And if we teach that to our kids, why don't we hold that true for ourselves? So if anyone would like to comment on that, that would be, and we're going to go into, you know, just say next.
I really think that you did a great job with summarizing, you know, the SW, 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 SW. Some will, someone won't. So what? So what's the last one?
Just, I don't have it enlarged here, just one sec.
Some will.
Some will.
Someone's waiting.
Oh, someone's waiting is the last one. I think that's an excellent summary of how to look at a no. You know, it's that person is just not the right person for you. But it doesn't. Don't take it personal. So many of us take things personal that we really, really cannot benefit from the entire experience. It's just an experience. I mean, and if you look at it, just as you mentioned, Jody, earlier, as far as, you know, going out to dinner. It's no different than your business. You're inviting someone to come and partner with you. They can either say yes or they can say no. You know, or you're inviting someone to go out to dinner or to the movies. It's the same. You know, people are gonna. Not everyone. It's not for them. It just may not be for them. That may not be their, you know, their personality. But don't take it personal. That's the key. I would say do not take it personal, because when we take it personal, then it begins to affect our performance. Then it begins to affect who we are and what we're doing. Because when you know you have something that is going to change someone's life, you own that. And as long as you own that and you know that, it's up to them to take the, you know, to make the decision to come and join you or not. So that's my final take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go one step further, and you're all going to want to make notes of what I'm about to say. Because this is what I used to actually increase my business one year by 155%. And it was just from this little phrase, is that a no for now or a no forever? Because what happens with people is generally you ask them the first time, they're just going to automatically say no. Nope. And then when you gently say it like that, okay, I understand. So is that a no for now or a no forever? Because if it's a no forever, I'll make sure on my little Rolodex that I don't bother you about this, or my assistant or anyone who works for me, you know, to come to you again. And most people, when you say it like that, you will actually get a lot of, oh yeah, it's just a horrible time right now. You know, phone me back in 2 months, and you know, and we'll see what I'm up to then. So then you put it on your little note. Okay, phone in 2 months. But if you ask that question, is it no for now or no forever, you'll be surprised at, I think I worked it out because Diane knows I'm kind of statistical and weird that way, but I worked it out that I got 83% of my no's were a just not now, and I'm not saying forever. So just keep that in mind.
I like that, Jody. That's neat. To ask someone that, and your rate and your success rate went up 155%. That's awesome. But as piggybacking on what Rachel was saying about the SW, 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 you got to say that in your mind. Say some will, and then some won't. And then when you get to the some won't, and they say no, then you can say, so what? Someone else is waiting. So get that. Just, oh, that's an awesome phrase. I mean, and you just, hey, just be prepared for the no. Say, so what? Someone's waiting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you feel better about it too, don't you? Because you're not then focusing on no's. You're just like, so what? Let's move
Exactly.
on. As Diane says, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. So what?
Exactly.
I love it, by the way, Diane, that you say that to me quite a bit, because sometimes I do take it personal. And but I always have this thing too, and we'll text each other or message each other on Facebook and stuff. I'm like, oh, I had like someone in my group opted out of the program. And then she would say, yeah, so what? Tomorrow's a new day. I'm like, exactly. And God has in place of that one person, God has two more to replace the one. So what? Let him go.
And besides that, Jody, you wouldn't want them on your team if they're not going to be productive and they're not going to bring value to your team. You don't really want them there anyway.
Exactly.
And that's a learning process too, Jody. I mean, that just didn't happen for me. I had to actually learn and say, you know what? If this is not meant to be, there's definitely better coming. So look for the positiveness and take your no's and put them into something positive. Because if this one was not meant to be, the next one is so much more grander.
Yep, absolutely. And we had a little bit of fun on the weekend that we went to some open houses, and we found a house that all of us just really, really loved. It's like, wow. And I kind of thought, okay, it'll have to make me change my parameters of what I tell myself every morning about maybe having a new house, because maybe this is for us or what. And the one thing that I've told the kids flat out is, you know what, if this doesn't happen, that, that we can't get into this house or whatever, you have to look at it this way. It's God saying, this house isn't for you. God has something better, And sometimes you have to let go of the no or the rejection or I didn't qualify and stuff, just in the calm assurance that, God has something better. So what? God has something better. They said no. So what? God has someone better, And just always firmly believe that you might be stuck in a rut right now, but if you can focus on God is really having something better, because those stories of, oh well, I lost my job. However, that was probably the best thing that happened in my life because it allowed me to do this. And everyone has those kind of stories. So we're just going to quickly finish off here. So does anybody have any other extra little thoughts or nuggets that they'd like to share?
Yeah, I just want to comment to what you just said, that every time I get a no, I see it as an opportunity, and as you mentioned, God, this is not for me, something better is coming. Always see it as an open window for something better to come into your life. I mean, with my kids, for example, every time they say a no, it's a reminder to me, because I've been raised the same way as Diane was raised, on that whatever you've been told, you follow that to the T, or else you're in deep trouble. But that doesn't work nowadays with our kids, so it's an opportunity to find another tweak how to communicate with the girls, or how to put things out there for them to be more receptive and say, oh, that I didn't think of that. So they start seeing what you want them to see. So it's always a new opportunity. I see it as an opportunity.
Absolutely. And, with my older kids, because we had 4 older ones who are grown up and gone away now, but at a time when Elizabeth was just born, we actually had 5 kids all in our house at the same time. And you know what? It didn't work. It absolutely did not work to, they'd start fighting or this or that. They were actually pretty good, but, kids being kids and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? I'm the one who needs the timeout. So I never actually gave timeouts to my kids. It's like, Mommy is going in my bedroom for 20 minutes, so you guys will have to watch the baby and sort out whatever stuff is going on. And by the time I come out in 20 minutes, I need this to be a more peaceful house. And so the kids were always funny because when Christian would come home and they'd be, oh, how was your day? Well, Mom gave herself a time out again. So he knew that the kids must have been really in trouble. And you know what? It made it so much easier for me because it's like, I don't even want to deal with you guys. I'm going to go into peace and quiet in my own room. So,
Yep.
Good point.
alrighty.
Can I just add something here quickly?
Absolutely.
And Jody, we're not saying, for anybody out there listening and for ourselves, we're not saying if you have a dream and if you want something not to go for it bad enough and just say next. You have to find the opportunity that you feel comfortable with and keep your goals and your dreams at the top list. Keep them priority. Because you know what? That's what you're going for. And all these stories in here that we're reading about these different people who didn't give up or who took certain amount of no's. It's so true. There will be bumps in the road. Don't just start something, stop, start something, stop, because you have to stay focused and you have to stay persistent, because if you don't, then you're not getting anywhere either. But do not get hung up on the no's. Back to you, Jody.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to end today. You know, don't get hung up on the nose. Keep focused. Keep consistent. And, you know, and like Rachel said too, you know, we're taught in MLMs or direct sales or any other businesses, you know, some of them say you're not going to make any money for 3 years. Oh my gosh, well, 3 years, that sucks. So stay consistent. Do, you know, three action steps every day in your business life, in your health, with your children, with your relationships. And if you can do that consistently, you're going to get some better results. So again, just be willing to ask. Rejection is not an option. That's a myth. Yeah, just say what. So what? And if you'd like to make comments on this today, if we've inspired you, you can go on to fearlessonlineentrepreneurs.com, and this will be posted there. You know, share with us. Share with something that you took that out of your language of fear and rejection and no's, and that you put something positive, replaced it with something positive, and share with us what that has led you to do. So take care, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. Make it a great day. fearlessonlineentrepreneurs.com.